It seems like everywhere you look these days, AI is making headlines.
It really is remarkable the sheer number of advancements we're seeing.
Right, and not just advancements for the sake of it, but actual applications that are starting to touch so many different parts of our lives.
Absolutely, and at a pace that can feel almost overwhelming at times, trying to keep up with it all.
Exactly. And that's precisely why we're here today, to help you cut through the noise and get a clear picture of what's truly significant in the world of AI.
We've been digging deep into a whole pile of recent news articles, research papers, and even some strategic reports.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we're looking at this from multiple angles.
hmm
Not just the flashy new models, but also how AI is being implemented and even some of the bigger picture implications.
So think of this as your sort of curated guide to the AI landscape right now.
Your shortcut to understanding what's happening, what it means, and why you should care.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's dive right in. One of the most exciting areas has to be the emergence of these next generation AI models that are pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Yeah, it really feels like we're entering a new era of AI intelligence.
For sure. Like Google DeepMind just dropped Gemini 2.5 Pro, and they're not shying away from calling it their most intelligent AI model to date.
That's a bold claim, but when you dig into what they're saying about its capabilities, it's clear they're not just throwing around buzzwords.
What's got you particularly intrigued?
Well, this idea of enhanced internal reasoning. It suggests that Gemini isn't just relying on pattern recognition, which a lot of AI models do, but actually engaging in a more deliberate thought process before arriving at an answer.
So, like, it's actually thinking things through rather than just spitting out responses based on what it's been trained on.
Right, and that's a pretty huge leap forward, potentially.
Especially when you consider the types of problems AI could tackle if it truly has that ability to reason.
Absolutely. Things like complex decision making, nuanced problem solving, areas where we traditionally thought human intuition was indispensable.
And it's not all just theoretical either.
Yeah.
From what I've read, Gemini 2.5 Pro is already showing impressive performance across a variety of AI benchmarks.
Yeah, it's currently sitting at the top of the ADER Polyglot leaderboard, which is pretty much the gold standard for evaluating these large language models.
So it's not just hype, it's actually demonstrating real capability.
Exactly.
Now, Google isn't the only one pushing the envelope here. Anthropic is gearing up to release Claude 3.7, and the rumor mill is buzzing about a massive 500K context window.
Yeah, that's a huge jump from its predecessor, and it has a lot of people excited.
For those of us who aren't AI experts, though, what does that even mean, practically speaking?
Well, you can think of the context window as the AI's short-term memory. So basically, it's the amount of information the AI can hold in its mind at any given time.
Okay, so a bigger context window means it can remember more stuff.
Precisely. And 500K is a lot of information we're talking about, being able to feed it entire books, lengthy research papers, complex legal documents, and having it retain all of that information throughout your interaction with it.
Wow. So that could lead to some pretty incredible applications.
Definitely. Imagine having a conversation with an AI that can reference specific passages from an entire library of text or generate content that draws on a vast and nuanced understanding of a particular topic.
That's mind-blowing. It really feels like we're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs.
It does, doesn't it? And these large language models are just one piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah, AI is making waves in so many different areas. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about what's happening in the visual realm, specifically image generation.
All right. That's another area where we're seeing some really cool innovations.
For sure. MIT and NVIDIA have teamed up to create a new AI image generation model called HART, which stands for Hybrid Autoregressive Transformer.
Yeah, HART is interesting because it takes a different approach compared to some of the other leading image generation models.
In what way?
Well, a lot of the models that generate those hyper-realistic images you see online rely on a technique called diffusion, which can be quite computationally expensive and time-consuming.
So you need a lot of processing power, and you have to wait a while to get your image.
Right. What HART does is combine diffusion with another technique called autoregression in a way that balances speed quality and efficiency.
So it's kind of like finding a sweet spot.
Exactly. They've managed to achieve comparable image quality to the larger diffusion models, but HART does it about 9 times faster and using around 31% less computational power.
That's a pretty remarkable improvement.
It is. And one of the most exciting aspects is that this efficiency means HART can run on devices that wouldn't normally be able to handle these complex AI models.
Like regular laptops and smartphones.
Exactly. which opens up a whole world of possibilities for people who want to experiment with AI image generation without needing access to expensive specialized hardware.
That's a big deal. And it sounds like HART has even more potential beyond still images.
Yeah, the researchers are already exploring how to adapt its architecture for generating video and audio content.
So we might be seeing videos and music created by AI using this same fast and efficient approach.
It's certainly a possibility and one that I'm personally very excited about.
Me too. It seems like there's a new breakthrough in AI image generation every other week.
It really does feel that way. And it's
Yeah.
not just about creating realistic images either. There's also a lot of focus on giving users more control over the artistic style and making these tools more user-friendly.
Speaking of style, we can't forget about the buzz around ChatGPT's new image generator,
Mm.
especially its ability to create those Studio Ghibli-inspired images that went viral.
Oh yeah, those were everywhere. And it wasn't just the Ghibli style that was impressive. The model showed significant improvements in its ability to edit images, seamlessly integrate text within images, and understand spatial relationships within a scene.
So it's not just about creating pretty pictures, it's about understanding the visual elements and how they relate to each other.
Exactly. But the surge in popularity also brought to light some of the challenges that come with AI-generated content.
In what way?
Well, the sheer volume of users wanting to generate those Ghibli-style images actually led to OpenAI having to temporarily pause the rollout for free users.
Oh, wow. So even these tech giants aren't always prepared for the level of demand.
It seems not. And there's also the ongoing discussion around copyright and artistic influence.
Right, because if an AI can create an image in the style of a particular artist who owns that image.
Exactly. It's a very complex legal and ethical issue that's still being debated.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to images either. We're seeing similar questions arise around AI-generated music and writing.
Absolutely. As these AI models become more sophisticated and their output becomes increasingly indistinguishable from human-created content, these questions of ownership and attribution are only going to become more pressing.
Okay, so we've covered some of the really impressive advancements in AI models, both in terms of language and visuals. But how is this all translating to the real world? Like, where are we actually seeing this technology being put to use?
Well, the short answer is pretty much everywhere. AI is rapidly becoming integrated into all sorts of industries and applications.
Let's start with healthcare, because it seems like that's an area where AI has the potential to make a truly significant impact.
It absolutely does. We're seeing AI being used for everything from diagnosing diseases to developing new treatments to streamlining administrative processes.
One example that caught my eye was Polyguard. They've just released technology that can detect deepfakes and AI-generated fraud in real time.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge deal, especially for financial institutions who are constantly having to combat scams and fraudulent activity.
Right, because as AI gets better at creating convincing fakes,
Yeah.
it becomes more and more difficult to tell what's real and what's not.
Exactly. Polyguard's technology is like a safeguard against those AI-powered voice and video calls where someone is impersonating someone else.
It's almost like an arms race between the AI that's creating the fakes and the AI that's trying to detect them.
In a way, it is, and it highlights just how important it is to have these protective measures in place.
Amazon is also making some interesting moves in the healthcare space. They're testing a new AI-powered chatbot called Health AI, which is designed to answer general wellness questions, provide basic medical guidance, and even suggest relevant products and services.
So it's kind of like having a virtual health assistant at your fingertips.
Exactly. And it's not just about providing information either. It can also direct users to Amazon's online pharmacy or their One Medical service.
So they're really trying to create a seamless ecosystem where you can access health information, products, and services all in one place.
Which makes sense from a business perspective, but also raises some questions about potential conflicts of interest.
Oh, definitely. Like if the AI is recommending Amazon products, even when there might be cheaper or more suitable options available elsewhere.
Right, it's something to be mindful of as these AI-powered health tools become more prevalent.
Absolutely. We also saw a startup called Taxo raise $5 million in funding for their AI reasoning engine, which is specifically designed to reduce administrative burdens in healthcare.
That sounds like a game changer for doctors and nurses who are often bogged down by paperwork.
It could be. If AI can handle some of those time-consuming tasks like processing insurance claims or scheduling appointments, it would free up healthcare professionals to focus more on patient care.
Which is ultimately what everyone wants, right?
Sure. And it's not just administrative tasks. AI is also being used to improve diagnosis and treatment.
There's some promising research suggesting that AI could significantly speed up the diagnosis of celiac disease, which is a condition that can often take years to identify.
Yeah, that's a great example of how AI can analyze complex medical data and spot patterns that might not be immediately obvious to human doctors.
And that earlier diagnosis can make a huge difference in terms of managing the condition and preventing complications.
Absolutely. And we're also seeing AI being used to develop personalized treatment plans based on a patient's individual genetic makeup and lifestyle factors.
So it's moving beyond a one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare.
Precisely. And it's not just happening in the US either. Ant Group in China is making some really interesting strides in healthcare AI.
What are they up to?
Well, they've developed a suite of AI solutions that are currently being used in 7 hospitals across China, and they're focusing on things like improving diagnostic accuracy, predicting patient outcomes, and optimizing hospital operations.
And they're taking a pretty strategic approach to the hardware they're using as well, right?
Yeah, they're not relying solely on chips from companies like AMD and NVIDIA. They're also incorporating chips from Chinese manufacturers as a way to mitigate potential supply chain disruptions.
That's a smart move given the current geopolitical landscape.
It is, and it highlights how AI development is becoming increasingly intertwined with global economics and politics.
And to wrap up healthcare for now, we saw Uptiv Health partner with Lamar Health to expand AI automation in the management of specialty medications.
That's another area where AI can really make a difference by ensuring that patients are getting the right medication at the right time and helping to manage the often complex logistics involved.
It seems like AI is touching pretty much every aspect of the healthcare ecosystem these days.
It really is, and it's only going to become more prevalent as the technology continues to mature.
Okay, so let's move on from healthcare and talk about another area where AI is having a major impact how we shop and interact with businesses.
All right, that's a huge area and one that's constantly evolving.
Amazon, for example, has rolled out a new AI-powered service called Interests, which is designed to provide super specific shopping suggestions based on your hobbies and even natural language descriptions.
So, like, if you tell it you're really into sustainable living and you're looking for a new coffee maker, it can recommend options that meet those criteria.
Exactly. They're really aiming for that hyper-personalized shopping experience where the AI understands your needs and preferences better than you do.
Which can be both amazing and a little bit creepy.
Definitely. It raises questions about privacy and data collection, like how much information is Amazon gathering about us and how are they using it?
That's a valid concern, and it's something that consumers need to be aware of as these AI-powered systems become more prevalent.
And it's not just Amazon that's using AI to personalize the shopping experience. We're seeing it everywhere, from online retailers to brick-and-mortar stores.
Absolutely. AI is being used to tailor product recommendations, optimize pricing strategies, and even create more engaging and interactive shopping experiences.
And it's not just about selling stuff either. AI is also being used to improve customer service.
That's right. We're seeing more and more companies using AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants to handle customer inquiries, resolve issues, and provide support.
Hopefully these AI assistants are getting better because I've definitely had some frustrating experiences with those robotic scripted chatbots in the past.
Yeah, this can be pretty annoying. But the technology is improving, and companies are starting to focus on creating AI agents that can actually understand context, learn from interactions, and provide more helpful and personalized responses.
Zendesk, for example, is taking an approach they call adaptive reasoning, which is all about creating AI agents that are less reactive and more proactive in their interactions with customers.
That sounds promising, like the AI can actually anticipate what the customer needs and offer solutions before they even have to ask.
That's the idea. It's about moving beyond those simplistic if-then scenarios and creating AI agents that can truly understand and respond to the nuances of human communication.
Which is a pretty tall order, but it seems like that's the direction things are heading.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about healthcare and retail. Let's move on to an industry where AI's impact might not be as immediately obvious: publishing.
Ah, yes, the world of books and words. How is AI shaking things up there?
It's actually pretty fascinating. There's a company called Spines that's using AI to significantly speed up the publication process.
Really? So how does that work?
Well, they've developed an AI model that can handle a lot of the tasks that are traditionally done by human editors, like proofreading, formatting, and even identifying potential plot holes or inconsistencies.
Wow. So it's like having an AI editor working alongside human authors.
Exactly. And Spines is claiming that their technology can cut the time it takes to publish a book down to a matter of weeks or even days.
That's a huge difference compared to the traditional publishing process, which can often take months or even years.
It is, and it has the potential to really democratize the publishing industry, making it easier and faster for authors to get their work out in the world.
And for readers to have access to a wider variety of books.
Exactly. But of course, there are also concerns about the potential downsides of AI-generated content.
Like what?
One of the biggest issues is the question of ownership. Who owns a book that's been written by an AI?
That's a tricky one, and it's something that courts and lawmakers are still grappling with.
Yeah, there are already lawsuits from authors and artists who are alleging that AI companies are infringing on their copyright by using their work to train these models.
It's a really complex issue because, on the one hand, you have the argument that AI is simply a tool, and the output it generates belongs to the person who created or owns the tool.
But on the other hand, if an AI is using existing works to learn and create something new, does that constitute a form of plagiarism or copyright infringement?
It's a tough question, and there's no easy answer.
And then there's the issue of hallucinations, which is the term used to describe those instances where an AI generates inaccurate or nonsensical information.
Right. Because these models are trained on vast amounts of data, they can sometimes spit out things that sound plausible but are completely made up.
And that can be really dangerous, especially in areas like health or finance, where
Yeah.
accuracy is paramount.
Absolutely. There was a case recently where an AI-generated mushroom foraging guide included some dangerously inaccurate information that could have led to people getting sick or even dying if they had followed it.
Yikes. So it's clear that we need to be really careful about blindly trusting AI-generated content.
We do. It's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to ensure that it's being used responsibly and ethically.
Okay, so we've talked about healthcare, retail, and publishing. Let's move on to another industry that's seeing a surge in AI adoption: security.
Security. That's an interesting one. How is AI being used to keep us safe?
In a lot of ways. We're seeing AI being used to detect and prevent cyber attacks, monitor physical spaces, identify potential threats, and even automate security responses.
So it's kind of like having an AI security guard that's always on alert.
Exactly. And one company that's making waves in this space is Hakimo. They recently raised $10.5 million to develop their autonomous AI agent for physical security.
Autonomous AI agent. That sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. Basically, it's an AI system that can continuously monitor an environment, identify unusual patterns or potential threats, and even take action to prevent or mitigate those threats without any human intervention.
Wow, so it's like having an AI that can think on its feet and make decisions in real time.
Right. And that's a pretty significant development, especially given the increasing strain on traditional security systems.
Yeah, with rising crime rates and a shortage of security personnel, a lot of organizations are looking to AI to help fill the gap.
And Hakimo isn't the only one. There are a bunch of other companies developing AI-powered security solutions for both physical and digital environments.
It's definitely a growing market and one that's likely to see even more innovation in the coming years.
Okay, let's move on to the world of finance, another industry that's embracing AI in a big way.
Finance, that's an area where AI seems like a natural fit given all the data and algorithms involved.
It is, and we're seeing AI being used for everything from fraud detection to risk assessment to investment management.
Even the stock market is getting in on the action. The Stock Exchange of Thailand is partnering with Google to implement an AI-powered search solution.
What's the goal there?
Well, they're hoping to improve the speed and efficiency with which investors and financial institutions can access and analyze market data.
So basically making it easier to find the information you need to make informed investment decisions.
Exactly. And it's not just about making things easier. AI is also being used to identify patterns and trends that humans might miss.
Which can give investors a competitive edge.
It can, but of course there are also risks involved.
Like what?
Well, one concern is that these AI systems could be biased and manipulated, leading to unfair or even illegal outcomes.
That's a valid concern. And it's something that regulators are starting to pay close attention to.
They are, and there have already been some high-profile cases where AI-powered financial systems have been accused of discrimination or unfair practices.
Which highlights the importance of transparency and accountability when it comes to AI development and deployment.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that these systems are being used ethically and responsibly, and that there are safeguards in place to prevent harm.
Okay, let's shift gears again and talk about the impact of AI on the workplace.
All right. That's a topic that's generating a lot of discussion and debate these days.
For sure. Some people are excited about the potential for AI to automate tasks, increase productivity, and create new job opportunities.
While others are worried that AI could lead to widespread job displacement and exacerbate existing inequalities.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
It is, and it's something that we need to be thinking carefully about as AI becomes more integrated into our work lives.
One of the most promising areas is the development of AI-powered tools that can augment human capabilities.
So rather than replacing humans, AI can help us to work more efficiently and effectively.
Exactly. For example, Microsoft has introduced what they call reasoning agents within their Microsoft 365 Copilot suite.
Reasoning agents, what are those?
Basically, they're AI assistants that can help with complex research and analysis tasks.
So like if you're writing a report, you could ask the AI to summarize a bunch of relevant articles or pull out key data points.
Exactly, and it can do it much faster and more accurately than a human could.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially for people who spend a lot of time working with information.
It is, and it has the potential to free up human workers to focus on more creative and strategic tasks,
Which could lead to a more fulfilling and productive work experience overall.
hopefully. But of course, there's always the concern that as AI gets better at these tasks, it could eventually make some human jobs redundant.
That's a valid concern, and it's something that we need to be preparing for as a society.
Absolutely. We need to be thinking about how we can retrain and upskill workers for the jobs of the future.
And we need to be having conversations about how we can ensure that everyone benefits from the advancements in AI, not just a select few.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the impressive advancements in AI models, the impact of AI on various industries, and the potential implications for the workplace.
But what about the underlying technology? What's making all of this possible?
That's a great question. And it's something that often gets overlooked in all the excitement about the latest AI applications.
But it's the foundation upon which everything else is built.
Exactly. And one of the key technological advancements is the development of more powerful and efficient hardware.
Because these AI models require a lot of processing power and memory to function.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's why companies like NVIDIA are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with their GPUs.
GPUs, what are those?
They stand for graphics processing units, and they're basically specialized electronic circuits that are designed to accelerate the creation of images.
So like the chips that power video games.
Exactly. But it turns out that GPUs are also incredibly well suited for the types of calculations that AI models require.
So they've become the workhorse of the AI revolution.
They have. And NVIDIA is the undisputed leader in this space. They're constantly developing new and more powerful GPUs that are specifically optimized for AI workloads.
And it's not just about raw power either, it's also about efficiency.
Right, because these AI models can consume a lot of energy.
Exactly. So there's a big push to develop hardware that can deliver the necessary performance while also being energy efficient.
And NVIDIA is at the forefront of that effort as well. They've made some significant strides in reducing the energy consumption of their GPUs.
Which is good news for the planet and for our wallets.
Absolutely. And it's not just about GPUs either. We're also seeing advancements in other types of hardware, like high bandwidth memory or HBM.
HBM, what's that?
It's a type of memory that's specifically designed to provide the high data transfer speeds that AI models need.
So it's like the superhighway of data transfer.
Exactly. And the demand for HBM is skyrocketing as more and more companies invest in AI.
It's become such a hot commodity that SK Hynix, which is one of the leading manufacturers of HBM, has already sold out most of its 2026 production.
Wow, that's incredible. And it really highlights the rapid pace of AI development.
It does, and it's not just NVIDIA and SK Hynix that are playing a role in this hardware revolution.
Oh yeah, there are a bunch of other companies that are developing innovative solutions to power the AI of the future.
Like who?
Well, Intel, for example, is making a big push into the AI chip market with their new line of Xeon processors.
And Google has developed their own custom AI chips called Tensor Processing Units, or TPUs.
And even Apple is getting in on the action. They've been quietly developing their own AI chips for their devices, and they're starting to make some noise in the AI hardware space.
So it's a really competitive and dynamic landscape.
It is. And it's only going to get more intense as the demand for AI hardware continues to grow.
Okay, so we've talked about the models, the applications, and the hardware, but there's one more piece of the puzzle that we need to address: the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Right, because as AI becomes more powerful and pervasive, it raises some really important questions about its impact on our lives.
Questions that we need to be thinking carefully about.
Absolutely. One of the biggest concerns is the potential for AI to exacerbate existing inequalities.
Like how?
If AI systems are trained on biased data, they can perpetuate and even amplify those biases in their decision-making.
So, for example, if an AI system is used to make hiring decisions and it's been trained on data that reflects historical gender or racial biases, it could end up discriminating against certain groups of people.
Exactly. And that's a really serious problem because it could lead to further marginalization of already disadvantaged groups.
We need to be really careful about how we design and train these AI systems to ensure that they're fair and equitable.
We do. And it's not just about bias. There's also the concern that AI could lead to widespread job displacement.
Right, because as AI gets better at performing tasks that are currently done by humans, it's possible that some jobs will become automated.
And that could have a significant impact on the economy and on people's livelihoods.
Absolutely. We need to be thinking about how we can prepare for these potential disruptions and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from the advancements in AI.
And then there are the philosophical questions about the nature of intelligence and consciousness.
Like, if AI becomes as intelligent or even more intelligent than humans, what does that mean for our understanding of ourselves?
Right. And what are the ethical implications of creating machines that can think and learn like we can?
These are really deep questions, and there are no easy answers.
That they're questions that we need to be grappling with as we continue to develop and deploy AI technologies.
Absolutely. It's important to have these conversations and to involve a wide range of perspectives, including ethicists, philosophers, and social scientists.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of AI.
We have. It's been a whirlwind tour of the latest advancements, the potential applications, and the ethical considerations.
And it's clear that AI is a rapidly evolving field with the potential to transform our lives in profound ways.
Both for better and for worse.
Exactly. So as we conclude this episode, we want to leave you with the question to ponder.
A question that we encourage you to really think about and maybe even discuss with others.
Of all the things we talked about today, what single aspect of AI do you believe will have the most significant impact on your life in the coming years?
And why?
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the fascinating and ever-changing world of AI.